Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. On this channel, we try to learn various concepts of data science by practicing a lot of questions. This video is in continuation of the SQL 50 Crack SQL Interview in 50 Questions series, where we are trying to learn hands-on SQL using 50 carefully curated questions covering diverse aspects of SQL. So we solved questions on select, now we are starting basic joins from this video, then we will be solving basic aggregate functions, sorting and grouping, advanced select and joins, and then subqueries and advanced string functions, regex, and clauses. Okay. In our previous video, we solved invalid tweets where we learned about how to calculate length in terms of bytes and in characters in SQL. From this video, we are going to start the next part, basic joins, and going to solve this question, replace employee ID with unique identifier, and try to learn from it. Okay, so let's jump right in. Okay, so this is the sixth video of the series and the first of joins. This is question regarding replacing employee ID with unique identifier. And this question has been asked in Google, Amazon, Point 72 over the past few months, right? So, which is very important question. Let's jump right in. The question reads, so we are given a table called employees with two different columns, ID name and ID is the primary key column with unique values for this table. Each row of this table contains the ID and the name of an employee in a company. Okay. Another table, employee unique, basically again two different columns, ID and unique ID, and the combination of ID and unique ID is the primary key, right? Combination of columns with unique values for this table. Each row of this table contains the ID and the corresponding unique ID of an employee in the company. We are asked to write a solution to soak the unique ID of each user. If a user does not have a unique ID, replace just so null. Order of the result does not matter. So basically, let's go through this example, right? So here we have information in basically two different tables. So just by looking at it, since the question is asking for something which needs to be extracted from table 1 and table 2, that is why the concept of join comes in SQL. Okay, so now here we have the employees table, their IDs and name, and then employee unit table where their IDs and unique IDs, and it asks us to basically return the unique IDs and the names of the employees. If there is a unique ID, you return the unique ID. If not, you return a null, right? So if we go by this, right? So ID1, right? For Alice, ID1 is not present in employee uni, right? So the unique ID of Alice is null, right? Similarly for Bob, but for Meyer, 11 is present and the unique ID is 2. So 2 and Meyer, 90 is also present. So 3 and Winston, and 3 is also present. So 1 and Jonathan. And that is what we have in our output. So let's learn about joins. So usually there are certain types of joins in MySQL. One category is inner join. So inner join you can basically think of in this way that let's say I and you, we both are persons and we are talking, and whatever is common between us is the output, right? Now, another type of joins are called outer joins. So there are two categories in it, left join and right join. So basically what it does is when we do left join, right? So whatever table is in the left, it keeps everything from that, plus it tries to get more information from the next table. Okay, so let me go ahead and show you, right, really quickly how the different joins will work in this case. For inner join, I said that whatever is common, right? So from this table called employees, right, from this table called employees, and it's better to alias the names of the tables to one or two characters because you don't have to write the full name of the table again and again, right? So aliased as E1. So now I can refer the entire employees table with E1, right? Let me do inner join, right? So inner join, the another table is called employee uni. Let's alias this as E2. And inner join and outer joins are always performed using an on clause, because if you are joining two things, right, so you need a link between these, right? So how you are going to join this? So you need to give the name of the column. Now, one thing to keep in mind is people usually think, and just by looking at this example also, people might think that okay, ID in this and ID in this, so they are since the same column and they contain the same values, so this is okay to do. And in this particular case, yes, you are correct. But in many examples and in real day life, do not make that as a law. Just look at the columns in different tables and the type of values they contain and what they are represented. and then use that. So it is possible that in this particular table 1 you have a column with different name, in second table you have a column with another name, but they have the same values and represent the same thing, and you have to join it, right? Okay, so since we are performing an inner join and inner and outer joins are performed using on clause, so we do e1 dot id is equal to e2 dot id, right? And after performing a join, let's keep everything, right? So select star, so return all the columns. Let me put a semicolon. By the way, this is not the correct solution for the question, right? I'm just showing you how the inner join look works, right? Okay, so this says obviously wrong answer. So see, what did I say? I said that when you perform an inner join between these two, whatever is common is being kept. So here 11 Meyer, right? So 11 is present here as well. So 11 is common in these two, 90 is common in these two, 3 is common in these two. So whatever information you get from table 1 employees and table 2, right, you keep all that information. Outer joins. So in outer joins, what we are basically doing is, if I do the first example is left join. So whatever comes before this, right? So this table employees is on the left of the left join keyword that we wrote. So every row in this table is going to be present in the output, and in that columns from employee unit table are also going to be present, but their values are null or not depends upon whether whatever you are joining on is present or not, right? So what I mean by that is, here if I write this exact same thing, right, what is this doing? So it is taking, okay, employees, right? So all these 5 rows of the employees table are going to be present. Now what are the values of the columns id and unique id that comes after this going to contain? So one, it will try to search in the employee uni table id and see, okay, there is nothing which is equal to 1 here, so it will populate null and null. 7 again tries to search here, no, null and null. 11, it founds a match, so it will populate 11 and 2. 90, yes, 90 and 3. 3 it finds, okay, so 3 and 1. So this is what we need to understand in case of left join. Let me go ahead and run this. Let's see if this is what the exact thing we are trying to get. Okay, so yeah, now we have the, so this first two columns, everything from the employees as it is, whatever is in our question, and these two values are coming from the employee unit table based on whether this id is present in e1 and e2 or not, right? Basically, returning only the unique id and the name, right? So if I return unique id, and the good way or the syntax that you should follow is always use the name of the table from which the column you are trying to extract. So in our output, we need unique ID first and then the name. This column after performing a join is coming from employee uni, that is E2, right? So always try to write if names of the columns are unique, right? So if the names of the columns after performing a join is unique, even if you do not write this, it is not a problem, but you just look at it, right? So if you do return ID, SQL will get confused. ID from this or ID from this, which one of the columns do you need? So it is always better to specify the name of the column. So e2 dot unique id, right? And the second one we need is name. Name is coming from this one, right? So e1. So e1 dot name. Let me go ahead and run this. Let's see what do we have here. So now this is accepted. Our output is same as expected output, right? Similarly, the right join is just the opposite of it. So instead of, keeping everything from this and trying to find in this, it will keep everything from this and try to find in this, right? And there is a fourth type is called cross join. Cross join is basically every row is going to make a sequence with this. So what it is basically doing is, here you have 5 rows, here you have 3 rows. So in the output you are going to have 5 multiplied by 3, that is 15 rows. How? So first row 1 Alice 3 1. Second row 1 Alice 11 2. Third row 1 Alice 93. Fourth row 7 Bob 3 1. Fifth row 7 Bob 11 2, and so on, right? So if you do this exercise, you are going to give 15 rows. So yeah, this is about joins. Let me go ahead and submit it so if it passes all the test cases. So yeah, this is accepted and this is how we do it. So not a very difficult question, very basic join, but I try to convey different things about joins, different types of joins you need to keep in mind, inner joins, outer joins, cross joins, and their respective outputs. So what we did was from this first table, we performed a left join. So this is a basically short form of left outer join. Left outer join employee unit 2 kept only columns unique ID and name, and that is what we have in the output. So this is how I do it. Let me know if there is a better way or a more efficient way to solve this question. Let the solution be in the comment section below, and I will see you guys in the next video.